in the blink of an eye. Be wary, young lad.
Zen Master Blue. When a tree sheds its leaves, where do they go?
Ah, so many are falling like stars from the sky. Count them.
Zen Master Blue, what do we find at the end of the rainbow?
Oh, much trembling, much joy will come all of us.
Zen Master Blue, why do we age and become wrinkled?
'Tis the mysteries of the world, and we are part of it, like the sand and the stars.
Zen Master Blue. Blue is not blue, she's gray. What is it?
Oh, I lost you, hon.
I said, my Russian blue cat is not blue, she's gray. Why is that? And called the Russian blue.
I myself have loved a Russian blue in my time. Interesting species. Go with it.
Barb's turn. After Victoria, is it Barb?
I'm sorry, I went out of line. I already asked her.
Oh,
I goofed it up, Nance.
okay.
Okay.
Zen Master Blue. What makes the sky so blue?
Reflection from thousand-year-old glaciers shine upon us.
Where is my sanity?
Ah, we can look left, we can look right, but mostly towards the heavens.
Zen Master Blue, when will I find true love?
Mysteries of the heart, my boy, mysteries of the heart. Don't look and uncover every leaf.
Zen Master Blue, what was I thinking?
The mind can be a troublesome stream to cross. Very good.
And then last up, Paul. Paul, go ahead and take a turn.
Wait, no, Paul.
Paul.
What?
Paul.
Ask Blue a question, any question.
Any question. Why?
Age-old question that comes in many forms all throughout one's life.
Awesome. Hey, Blue, you're very good at the Zen Master. I love it. I could just listen to you all night. So Blue did something interesting. She still had these strange sayings, but they actually many times tied in with what people were saying. And that's okay too. That's fine. What I want you to notice though was how it's a little different in Zoom, but when you're in person, it's really kind of a tough thing to do because the person asking the question feels like, okay, this person's not giving me anything back, like they're random, right? So what I'd like you to do now, what I'd like you to do now, we're going to do breakout rooms. You're going to have a partner, and it's similar but slightly different. Okay, so on this one, what you're going to do is you're going to have, let's say, a couple minutes, and you're going to actually both be Zen masters at the same time. And what'll happen is one Zen master will say a statement, and then the other Zen master will have a response statement. And this time it's okay if you can kind of actually make sense of them somehow, like actually have a dialogue where you are paying attention to each other and you're maybe making sense. That's what we want, but we also want it to still sound like bizarre, esoteric, statements, these Zen cone statements that are bizarre. Okay. And, but if you can kind of relate to each other. So this is sort of a fun game of give and take between two Zen masters. I'm opening the breakout rooms. If you have 3 people, one of you has 3. Blue, you know what I'll do, Blue, since you've done it, I'll put you in a group of 3. So it's Les and Paul and Blue, and you guys have 3 Zen masters. Or actually, how about this, Blue? You be a questioner. So you play the straight man. You ask questions, and Les and Paul will both be Zen masters. Let's try that. Okay. So here's the rooms. Go ahead and join them. When you see the button, click it and make sure you get in there. I'll give you a couple minutes. How'd that go?
So enlightening. I asked them why I pee so much now at 66. They had very fruitful answers.
Jack, who is your little fella there?
Ariel, you made
Oh
it.
boy. Here we go.
This is
Yeah,
my
thank you.
friend.
I totally
Hi.
transported Baba, Zen
Who is
Master
it?
Baba. Thank you.
Who is it? Jack. Who is
Nancy,
it?
Nancy, it's Jack. What are you talking about? It's me.
Oh my gosh.
Jack, can you ask
Get
your
another
master
person
what
with
his
Jack.
name is? How
Hey.
cute is he?
This exercise is a little rough. But I think
I think we got through it okay.
Awesome.
Very cute.
All right. So I love, we have a very pet friendly group, I noticed. So we're going to do, remember we talked about, we're back to character relationship objective, where we had talked about characters. And the last couple times we've done a lot of work on status, remember? We talked about, we did that game called Frozen Faces. These were ways that could create instant characters. Today we're going to do another quick one, a little workshop game called Animal Attributes. And animal attribute is a useful one.
Right up our alley.
This would be a good theme because we have dogs. So the animal attributes, the idea of the game is you pick an animal. Sometimes you're given one. I'm going to let you guys pick one here, and then I'll give you one later maybe, or we'll try both. But you're going to pick an animal in your head, and you're going to think about if you were a human being that had the certain characteristics of that animal, how would you behave? This is different from literally acting like an animal. We've done actually games in class, in person, where you actually, for example, if you get snake, somebody who gets snake who wants to do it literally ends up on the floor slithering, right? And they don't move. I mean, they don't like walk on their legs and hands. They stay in the snake, and they might move their tongue in and out, and that's it. I mean, because the snake's not doing much more than that, unless it rears up and it's a viper or something, right? So that's literal. What we want is a little bit more figurative. So we want to take the characteristics of the animal, and if you were to apply them to a person, in what creative ways could you think of applying those animal characteristics? So that could be the movement pattern. It could be the sounds they make or their voice. It could be how what they're interested in, what they want, like what kind of, if it's a predator, what's it looking for? If it's kind of an attitude or an emotional state, or if it's something stereotypical that people say about like a snake in a grass has a lot of meanings, right? So what you want to do in this game is you want to think of the animal and think of some attributes it might have, and then think of how they might apply to a person as a character. And it could be more, some people do snake as literally as just hissing when they talks, that it could be as simple as that. Or it could be you decide you're going to be an attorney in a big city, and you're greased up real well and you're ready to steal somebody's money, right? I mean, that could be a different version of a snake, or maybe that's a wolf, I don't know. But either way, right, you can apply that. So what we're going to do one version as a class, and then I'm going to throw you in the breakout room so you can play and practice. I need a volunteer, 2 volunteers actually. I got Jack and Bill. Okay, Jack and Bill, you guys are in a scene. Who wants to be a walk-on? We'll have a third. Any walk-on?
Sure.
Barbara Berg is the walk-on. Okay, so Bill and Jack are the main 2 in the scene. Barb, you come on at some point, and then make sure you exit before the scene's over. Okay. You have to enter after it starts and exit before it's over. Okay, so it stays focused on Bill and Jack. All right, now Bill and Jack, I want you to think of an animal. Don't tell us. Okay, think of an animal, and Barb, you do the same thing. And you're going to do a whole scene with this animal attribute. And what I'm going to do is we're going to get an audience suggestion for a word, and that'll somehow be your suggestion that you get. So I need a noun. Somebody leave it in the chat for me. Some of you like to type. Potato. Thank you, Abby. We're going to take potato. So potato is your suggestion. Somehow that's going to work into the scene. You 2 are up, Barb, and whenever you're ready, you can jump in. Take it away.
You always take the last chips, dear.
Jack, I do. They taste so good. I'll be back in a bit.
Wait, we need to go to the grocery store together.
I can. I hope you won't drive too fast.
You know I always will.
Well, I'll just have to really hang on.
What are you doing? Where are you going? Where? Are you going to the store? Would you pick me up some corn?
Barbara.
I mean it.
Listen to your mother. You're grounded.
Mom.
Could you speak slower, please?
Are you talking to me, brother?
You need to get to your room, young lady.
You're just a mean brother. Do it because I like you. Whoop, whoop.
And scene. Oh gosh, you guys are good. You went all out. That's commitment right there. That's commitment.
I know what Bill is. I know what he is.
Was he a sloth? Was he a sloth?
He was a sloth. A
Definitely.
sloth.
And was Barbara a chicken?
Yeah.
And what was Jack?
Boy, Jack was
A monkey kind.
He was
a chimp.
He might have been another sloth.
You might have been another sloth. They were both really slow.
Yeah,
what
they
were you,
were.
Jack?
I was a tortoise.
A
Oh.
tortoise.
Oh, I didn't get the scratching when you were scratching yourself. I
You
didn't.
know, that kind of made me think monkey too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
sure, but I
So
couldn't
what-
really tell.
What was fun about that, from my perspective, was how you guys really went with it. You committed. And it was neat to see the dynamic of two slow characters and one fast character. You know, the contrast was great. Bill, I loved your hanging.
Really excellent.
Drifting out of
Excellent.
table. That was very clever, very interesting, and kind of artistic too.
Yeah.
Was it difficult for you guys or easy, or what give me, you know, if you were what was your experience, those of you that were in it?
It was actually harder for me than I thought it would be.
Oh.
to me it wasn't difficult, but I caught myself asking questions. I go, stop it. But it was fun.
You made a great chicken.
Thank
It was
you.
just hard to go that slow.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah, I deliberately picked like a slow animal so I could just calm myself down. And I found it difficult, but once I kept with the cadence and just thought tortoise, it was fun just to stick with it and see what would happen.
The tip I would have for you guys is, and you did it, which is to just commit to it. Sometimes people have a hard time with this game. People that are like kind of serious comics and stuff that try improv, when they see games like this, they feel like, oh, what is this, a little kid game? And they tend to like poo-poo it and be like, that's dumb. But what you get out of it is a lot, because it's truly like pure creativity. Like this is not you, it's somebody else. So you immediately have a character. And what's cool about it is, even in a regular scene, you can pull these in even in subtle ways. You can be more obvious an animal, or you can be less obvious and make it very subtle. Either way, you're going to have some cool character stuff, right? Again, another tool in the tool belt. So I'm going to put you in a breakout room, and I'm going to let you guys, everyone is going to have the same suggestion, which is still going to be potato. And
That never came into play, did it?
No, it didn't.
no.
Oh no, he said potato chips. We're going to the store to get potato chips.
Yeah, and I'm going to put another group of 3. The rest will be in 2. What I want you to do is pick your own animal. And if you have a group of 3, it just means you have somebody who can come in a little later, and you have a 3-person scene. So give it a try. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to have a scene. Pick an animal and stick with it and commit to that animal. All right, here we go. Click that button when you see it. Should pop up so you can join your room.
Because you know how the pride gets the food for the male.
Oh, nice. That was awesome, Nancy.
Remember? Well, I don't know if you know that, but the females always do the killing in lions, bring it to the male. He eats first, and then they get the leftovers. And I'm not taking any leftovers.
The way it's supposed to be.
What were you, Jack?
I was a jackrabbit, actually. That's why I kept repeating myself. And yeah, Nancy, yeah. Just really anxious and on high edge.
Eat you, isn't it? I didn't eat you.
Did you guys, does anyone like this method of coming up with a character idea?
I do. I think it's genius.
You like this one?
Yeah. Because I don't know if anybody else notices, but like by being a figurative animal, you're basically just being the writer of your own Disney cartoon of when they do Madagascar or whatever. Like, how do these, it makes you think of casting voice actors. Like, how am I going to sound if I'm a cheetah as opposed to if I'm, as Nancy was, like a lion, you know?
Voice
it's like really,
go. This is a good voice acting application, Les. Voice acting.
I hear that.
Now, I want you guys quick review because sometimes we forget all the cool stuff we've learned. You know, I do all the time. I need reminders. So remember, just in the last couple weeks, we had masks, which is frozen faces. Remember, and that created a character like instantaneously. We had status, either high, low status. Remember that? That was a quick way. That one's a twofer because it's not just character; it's also relationship. It's the C and the R of the crow. You can kind of almost develop both of them super fast with that one. And now we have this third one, which is another great one, is the animal attributes. So the animal attributes, I love this one, but imagine if you were to combine a few. So let's say you're trying to figure out how to come up with a character for a scene, and you put on a face that also happened to remind you of an animal, and you had the animal attribute, and then you picked a status. Like, that is an interesting character. Wow. Really fast, isn't it? So think about the character and the relationship you could build on stage that would be so the opposite of boring. Very interesting. And you don't have to be loud or rapid fire unless that character. I mean, look at what we saw with the first scene with Bill and Jack as the sloth and the tortoise. That was very slow and kind of quiet, but actually very interesting. So it's not all about. The energy level could be higher or lower also, right? We haven't even got into all the other things we can do for characters, but just with those first three, that's you guys agree that's kind of cool stuff?
Yeah. Does the O stand for orientation? What does the O stand?
Yeah, I like that O, but no, it doesn't.
That's a great one.
It's just objective.
Objective, okay.
Yeah, and that's the kind of objective of like, what do you want? Like, what is your objective in the scene? What do you want? That's what it means. You always want something in every scene, and then the W is where. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Go ahead.
Real quick. One thought that I just had when you talked about status and the animal thing. I was just thinking about Jack and I, the two slow characters. How interesting that would have been for one to take high status and one to take low status, both being slow. You know, a high status sloth just somehow feels bizarre.
If I could get those TPS reports. No, I think that would have been really cool, Bill. I think that's worth experimenting next time. It would force interesting dialogue. You know, it would make for interesting dialogue. Okay, so we're going to move on to our game of the night, which is our show game. And we might have to work on this for a bit, which give us some extra time. So we're going to do Accordion Freeze. We've never done it on Zoom. I hope it works. I think it will. Forgive me in advance if it does not. We're going to have one group of 5 and one group of 6. And let me make those groups right now. Group number 1 is Les, Blue, Paul, Abby, Nancy. That's a group of 5. And then the group of 6 will be the rest of you, which is Barbara, Raymond. You know, I know a Raymond with a U, U-N-D. So I always one am I typing today? Victoria, Ari, and Jack Rooney. All right. Question?
Yeah, how do we play this game?
Oh, I'm getting to that. I'm sorry if you hear the sirens. There's an ambulance driving through my house or something. Jeez. Okay, so this game, Accordion Freeze, works like this. There will be 5 or 6. There will be one person who comes out. The audience gives a suggestion. The first person that comes out gives a brief monologue on the word. And this was actually, I love this game. It's so interesting and challenging. First person starts a monologue. This is not like a 5-minute monologue. This is maybe 20, 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes tops, like absolute maximum time. We're not talking really long, okay? But they're gonna share a monologue. And then the second person comes on, the second person, and it could be anybody in the team, by the way. There's no like designated order. Unless you want to order yourselves, you could, but you don't have to. Somebody says freeze. When they say freeze, that person literally freezes. The second person joins them on stage, and now you have a new scene with 2 people. And then after a little bit, a third person calls freeze and then joins them for a scene of 3 people. How do you like my finger puppets? You got 3 people. Okay. You got 3 people and they have a scene. Now, this is not the same continuation of the previous scene. So in other words, when third person joins 2, they're not just a new person in that same scene. They start a new scene, which means they have to either change the location, time, or both. Okay.
Or subject matter.
Yep. Subject matter, time, place, all that. Yeah.
How about the characters? Do they remain the same?
The characters, here's the thing. In some versions of this game, the characters can change too.
Oh.
And in some versions, you remain the same character. I'm going to make it easy tonight and let you change characters if you want. Okay. And sometimes that's better because the person who comes on, you know, like if I'm the third person coming on, I may have this suggestion, idea, premise for a scene. Has nothing to do with the previous scene, or we don't think it does. It's inspired by it, but we don't know. It's difficult for us to keep in character and agree and yes and them. So we can change character to make the scene work. Okay. Then a fourth person enters, does the same thing, and it's a new scene. And then the fifth person, and it's a new scene. Okay. Now let's just assume we're in the group of 5. Now, at one point, the fifth person leaves. And it goes back to scene 4, the identical scene, a continuation of that particular scene. And then the fourth person leaves and we go back to scene 3, the original scene 3, and continue it. And then we go back to the scene 2 with just 2 people and we continue and finish it. And then the monologue finishes, his monologist finishes her or his monologue. That's cool, huh? Very
now,
cool.
when,
done right.
When do you change character? I thought you had to stay the same one all the way through. Isn't that how we've always done it before?
Now, we've done it both ways. We don't have to keep the character.
Nope. The only time you keep your characters right is when you go back.
When you go back, you have to keep the character. Yeah. What I'm saying is when you go from scene 2 to 3, you don't have to keep the character from scene 2 into scene 3. Now, when you come back to scene 2, you have to be in those same characters. So when you do scene, let me give you an example. Scene 1 is about me talking about when I went to the doctor. Scene 2 is Abby comes in and she's the doctor and I'm me, but like 5 months ago. And scene 3, Nancy comes in and she's the letter carrier, postal worker for Abby, delivering mail to her house. Okay, at a totally different time. Abby decides she's still kind of a doctor, maybe off duty, and I'm no longer her patient. I'm the kid next door, you know, playing with my dog. But when we get back to scene 2, when you leave, Abby is the doctor and I'm the patient again. When Abby leaves, I'm back to finishing my monologue. Nancy, you've played this game before. It'll come back to you.
I know. It'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come
and
back.
And ideally, each segment, 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, is about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I know you don't like to put time on it, but some of us get a little wordy. And then someone's shy to come in.
Oh, Lou, no, not you. Not you.
Me.
Not you.
I'm gonna actually make it only 1 minute long.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're already pretty long. Think about it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, like times a minute. It's already a 9-minute to 10-minute scene with.
Wow. Yeah.
And on stage, that's the max you want this game to be. In fact, 30 seconds is better.
Yeah.
So I'll call it a max of about a minute, but that's a good question.
Yeah.
Any
And
other?
this is the first time for Les and Ari. You guys okay?
They'll be fine. They're
I
ninjas.
may have to leave the room here, but I think I'll try to stay. Work it out.
If you get nervous,
Abby too. Abby didn't play this before either.
Oh, right. Thanks.
She got it. She got it. They got it.
Oh, Les, you'll fit right in. You'll fit right in.
Are you going to keep track of the scenes for me? Because I may not remember what I did in scene 3.
Oh,
by
don't
the time
ask
we get...
me.
Okay.
My memory cells drop as we're speaking.
Okay.
Just so
What's
you
your name?
know,
Okay.
for you new folks, just beware that a common side effect of this game is spontaneously throwing up due to nervousness or pooping your pants. So if that happens for you, it happens to all of us at least once.
Really? And brain freeze. We all get brain freeze. So
I just keep it. I keep a garbage can here in case I have to just throw up because it's
very good.
Yeah, go for it, Paul.
I love how some people like that kind of humor and my humor, and some people are like, "Shut up, Jesse." Okay, let's do it. I'm going to throw in. I'm going to actually throw the new people in on purpose first. So,
Sorry. I'm trying to stop it. Oh man. Come on. I can't read it that fast.
Dance party.
I love, Abby, you got right in there. I love that. I was ready.
How's grooving,
Barbara?
Okay.
Groovy too.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this, gang. I'll keep an eye on the time. I'll help everybody out. No stress, no worries. If we screw up, big deal. I'll help you out. We'll get back on track. So if you are not in the scene, so in other words, you're group 2, get your pencil out. I want you to take a couple notes on what it is that you see working that's effective, and what could we make improvement on. Okay, and the suggestion is candy. Thank you, Jack. Nuclear.
And so who's the first group? The 5?
First group is going to be Les, Blue, Paul, Abby,
Okay.
Nancy. Les, Blue, Paul, Abby, Nancy. You 2 are up. You 5 are up first. I'm going to pick the monologist. And I think it's going to be, I'm going to actually make Blue. The reason why I'm making you the monologist is you have a lot of experience. And also it's hard. If you're the first person, you have to be in every single scene. And I don't want to do that to the new folks as much. And then everybody else just come in whenever you feel like it. So the way you come in is you say freeze. And then that's what's cool about Zoom is it's going to be really clear. You can say freeze, and then you get to start your scene. Okay. So Blue, you're up. The suggestion is candy. And there's a secondary suggestion that you might work in if you want to is nuclear winter. So technically it's nuclear candy winter.
And that should be
Nuclear candy winter. And after the monologue, the misogynist, when the misogynist finishes, number 2 person comes in, right? Starts
Number 2 will call free whenever they want, but
as long as it's not a woman.
Hey, Blue.
Okay.
Ouch.
This, I forgot to say one last thing about this, guys. When you are giving the monologue, I'm going to give you tips if you get chosen for monologue. My tips are, number 1 is the suggestion from the audience. They expect you to somehow relate to that, but they don't want you to you don't need to write, like speak a monologue as if you had sat down and wrote one. That's perfect. Number 1. Number 2 is it doesn't have to be all about candy. Like you don't have to say, oh, I have to talk about candy for a minute. No. Candy is your inspiration. What does that make you think of from your life, from your past, from your memories? And my third and biggest tip is to actually do something that's true. It's way more realistic and relatable, and we can feel that energy if you actually tell us a true story from your life. It comes across totally different than if you do this random little stupid goofball thing that people are like, oh, they're just shining us on. It's not as interesting to the audience. They love it when they actually hear a true story or something that we're not sure whether it's true or not. That also works. Okay, so go for it, Blue. You're up.
All right. So being true to my nature, which is in part a sugar addict, Halloween was especially my favorite part of the year. much less that I love the fall. I love the crunching of leaves and the candy, lots and lots of candy. I've sort of become a snob in my later years now with just dark chocolate. I no longer do milk chocolate, but God, there was just something great, eh? Getting stuff for free. You bring a sack, they fill it, and then you're home ripping it apart and trading stuff with your siblings. Like a Mary Jane for a Tootsie Roll. I didn't care for Tootsie Rolls, but I love Mary Janes.
Freeze. You have like 10 Mary Janes and I only have 2. That's not fair.
Yeah, but they are my favorites. So you know, that's just me. I'm a Mary, but look at all your Tootsie Rolls.
Well, I don't like Tootsie Rolls, and I'm the one who had to take you out. Mom made me. I would have rather gone out with my friends, but I had to drag you around.
Okay. How many do you want?
Well, I think 3 Mary Janes to 1 Tootsie Roll is a fair ratio.
Freeze. Well, I'm telling you, if we're going to talk about candy, I'm just going to say it for a minute. Those Tootsie Rolls look like little turds. You take the wrapper off, you throw them out there. They look like some kind of animal turd. I ain't eating those things. The leaves, let's flow them up in the sky. They'll be coming down like snow of different colors and different shapes. We got to get into that, you know.
Let's rake them in a big pile, Nancy, and put them. Remember when we could burn them at our curbs once upon a time before pollution?
Yeah. We made that big old bonfire on Halloween. It was awesome.
It was almost like aromatherapy. That scent, that autumn scent, and
Freeze.
Freeze. Oh, Paul, are you freezing?
Yeah, I told him to freeze. You know, as your dentist, this time of year is really great for me in the way of business, but it really bothers me to see all these cavities. You've got to do something about that. Brush your teeth after eating all that candy, please. It's just not a good thing. Yes?
Mama Abby, I don't want to go in. Mama Abby, don't make me go into the dentist.
It's okay. We only have to go once a year. It's not going to be that bad, I promise.
Let Sister Nancy go first.
Well, oh, no, not me. I brush and floss. I'm fine. I'm good to go.
Sister Nancy's teeth don't hurt. You told me your teeth hurt.
I don't know who you were talking to, but it wasn't me.
No, I was talking to your sister.
Wait, Ari's not in our group.
Oh,
Les.
I'm not in your group? How?
No.
I just saw my name on there on the list of names. I thought I was in your group. Sorry.
No,
We're the second group.
Les needs to freeze.
Freeze. So I wanted to talk to you guys all about one of my favorite memories as a kid is the first time I got to go to the movies. And the first movie I ever saw was Willy Wonka, right? And I thought it was so cool because, you know, you could go in as a kid. Can you imagine winning a chance to go into this candy factory and all the things can happen? And I do still have nightmares though from the little girl that turned into the blueberry thing and kept growing. That was crazy. But other than that, it was like my favorite movie. And we got to get candy actually out of in the lobby and bring it in and then we're watching candy on the screen and I was actually with my buddy, his name's Candy. And so it was a different experience, but I know I really enjoyed that. I don't know if you guys like movies or not, but you know.
And first movies like that, because you really like that one, the first movie I got to see as a kid, and this is no lying, I ain't lying, that movie called Rodan. It was about this flying prehistoric thing that was terrorizing people at the time. And that was the first one I went to see as a little kid. That's the first one. My dad took me to see it. I kind of, yeah, it was a little scary for a youngin'.
Hey, Les, was Johnny Depp Willy Wonka, Les, when you went, or was it another guy?
I didn't hear what you said there in the beginning.
Was Johnny Depp Willy Wonka when you saw it?
No, it was Gene Wilder. I think it was a silent film with black and white. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was in
I remember
it was in the 20s. Yes.
I got to eat all these little dots. Daddy bought me all these dots when we were watching. So it was.
I love dots. Yes, dots. Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna freeze you guys real quick. All 5 are in, right?
Right.
Who is the 5th and last person to go in?
Les.
Okay, so Les, you have to find a reason to leave the scene.
Okay.
And so you're gonna have to be like, hey, I gotta go, or someone has to direct you to go get something. So and then we're gonna start going backwards in the accordion. Go ahead.
Guys, I'm gonna have to leave the theater. I just looked out the window. There's a nuclear winter that's coming upon us. I must leave now.
But do you really have to go for that? That doesn't sound that bad.
Well, it looks a little scary out there.
Okay, well, suit yourself. We'll see you later then. Have fun.
Okay, kids. So I've got to examine you. Some of these cavities are bothering me a little bit to see you with those. I know they're not your permanent teeth, but you still should be careful about that.
If we've been trying to teach them good habits.
Will you give us lollipops, Mr. Dennis, Dr. Dennis, when we're done? Do we get to pick
I'll
lollipops?
give you sugar-free lollipops.
Sugar-free. No, we like sugar-free. Remember, we like sugar-free, especially when somebody's giving us sugar-free for free. Remember? What do we say when somebody's offering us free candy?
Thank you.
That's much better.
Oh, somebody just came in with an emergency. Boy, he looks like he's really hurting. I'm going to have to leave and take care of him.
All right, thank you, Dr.
Good while I'm gone.
Thank you.
Well, you know, this fire from these leaves appears to be getting a little out of hand. It's kind of spreading down the street. Look at it go.
I think
it's rather wow. It's almost like a nuclear explosion there.
You better go get the fire department. This is not good.
Look at it go. Oh, but then they come and put it out. But look at it, so much fun to watch. Become one with the flames, as I tell my dog. But become one with the flames and enjoy the colors and the heat. And then we don't have to go to the dentist. This is much more fun. I'll catch you guys later. I'm going to run down the street and see how it looks down there.
Okay. Better you than me.
Okay, so you got your 3 Mary Janes, and I've got a Tootsie Roll. What do you want to do with your Mounds bars?
I'm going to keep those. I have no intention of sharing those. In fact, you know what? I'm going to just take all this stuff here, and then I'm going to go hang out with Susie because she's way more exciting than you. So.
Oh, man, big sister. So, you know, yeah. But being born and raised in Detroit, you never knew what you were going to get on October 31st. I mean, there was times when it was snowing to beat the bells. So then we had to, and of course I was always a little chunky, and Mom would make us put our long underwear underneath our costumes. It ruined the whole costume because, of course, mine would be busting at the buttons then with long underwear. But, you know, we made it through, and yep, isn't that funny? 66 years later, and I'm still looking at my sugar addiction.
Yay. Not bad little scene there.
That was cool. Yeah.
Hey, Les, you're on mute. Are you trying to ask a question? You're still on mute.
Yes, still a rookie here. Hey, question: do you not have to have freeze in between coming back down again? Does that make sense?
No, you don't. You don't.
Because someone leaves.
Yeah.
Really good, everybody. That was really
great. You guys pulled it off good.
Yeah,
great.
We haven't done that in a while.
It's like we were at the theater.
Fun. That was fun. I remembered it right away then.
No. Now, if you were in it, pause for a minute and let's hear from anybody who the observers, the note takers. First of all, remember, I want to know what worked, what went well, and then what might we do to improve. That's all we need. I mean, if you want to talk about other stuff, that's okay.
I think what went well is that people really remembered better than I expected them to going backwards. That was really, really good. I think one thing that struck me that didn't work quite as well is I thought I heard some rejections in there. People kind of dismissing what other people had said. So I would just say, watch for that, and don't tell people, no, you didn't do that. So
right.
Yep. I was kind of a weak authority figure, it seems. Those kids got away from me very instantly, I'm afraid.
I'll tell you, Paul, I wanted you to leave on a, you guys got so many cavities, I got to go find more material.
Any other comments? Those were great.
I thought everyone did a great job with scene starts. I wrote down everybody's name, and I have Abby's. She started it with "You have my candy. You have," like she started. There was no questions in starting a scene, which made it get to the point, which was great. And I think people did a great job finding the relationship. My only like critique, if you will, would be, and it's hard to do, is when you're the person entering the scene, you in your first line, you want to make it seem like you're at a completely different location or sense of time. So and it was okay because we were able to piece it together as the audience, like, oh, Paul's a dentist, I bet they're at the dental thing. But just little things like, hey, sit down on the chair, or just trying to say the where, I would say is tough, but. Yeah.
I thought it had a nice, for the most part, I thought it had a nice yes and flow to it, because I liked the way that Paul stepped in as the dentist and they just went ahead and just accepted him and worked with that, which I thought was fantastic. So I liked that yes and part, that I feel like it had a nice flow, that it was okay that he was the dentist and he found a great way to exit, and everybody worked with that like a yes and I thought that was fabulous.
That's good, Ari. I agree with you. That was really a fun part.
Consequences of candy. That was great, Paul. Being a dentist.
Any other comments from Barbara, Raymond, Victoria? Anything else?
I was watching, and I thought it went along real well. There were times people were talking over each other. There were sometimes the people didn't let the other person talk because they were too busy talking, with their ideas. But we all do that. I am not, the only one too. But I thought it went pretty daggone good, really, for the first time doing this on Zoom. Man, it was cute. It was good.
Awesome.
The cuts, but it's a Zoom thing. The freeze wasn't always, because sometimes people are freeze. And so just being sure that we're listening, I think would help.
We're saying it loud enough, even though we're really shouting it.
Maybe you should put your hand up and say something like freeze, maybe they'll see it. I don't know.
Yeah, you might have to do a visual also, or a couple of us, all come in and we'll all like 6 people will freeze, and then eventually it'll kick over. Awesome.
I have to say I apologize because I saw my name like running together with the other names. I was just curious if next time you could separate the name list.
I don't know. On my screen, there are 2 different lines.
On mine, it all ran together. And so I really apologize because I just saw my name as part of the whole thing.
Don't worry about it. It was no big deal. Sorry. You didn't do anything bad. It hardly interrupted. No problem.
Sorry.
No worries. It just can't happen again.
Yeah, actually,
it's important that
one last little quick thing I'll say.
Ari Jack is next.
Oh.
Let's get that other group going, okay? Barbara, Raymond, Bill, Victoria, Ari, Jack. I want you guys to have a chance to do a scene tonight before we wrap up. So one other thing, a couple things I'm going to point out before you start. That hopefully you know why it's called Accordion Freeze now, because it's expanding and then it's going back to the original shape, right? And visually, when we do it on stage, it feels that way. It feels like there's people like stacking and growing the stage, and then it shrinks back down to the monologue. You don't really get that feel in Zoom. But the one thing we're missing here is the physicality adds a lot to the scene. So it's very interesting to do it without that. So that's another reason that you have to be very clear. Like I think Jack was saying, when you enter, make it really clear, the who, what, and where. Who are you? And what are you guys doing? And where is it? Like, try to get that out quick, because it's a lot harder without any verbal cues like we would normally have on stage, And then the other thing is when you're going off and you're talking, make sure that you occasionally pause, even if you're a rapid fire speaking person, because otherwise you won't hear the freezes, you won't hear anything. So be careful about that. Even if you're going and you're like on a roll, pause for a second for a breath, just to make sure that we're all even still there. Okay. So let's see, Barbara, Raymond, Bill, Victoria, Ari, Jack, and you guys get, you also get candy. No, let's give you a different one. Let's give a new suggestion, something brand new. What do you guys got for me? Somebody type it in the chat. I like, oh, cool. Okay, I'm gonna go with the, tractor, dolphin tractor. I'm gonna go with tractor. I like tractor tonight. I think that sounded good. Who wants to do the monologue?
I'll do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Barbara, I'll give it to you. You're the fastest hand. Victoria, you were number 2, Bill 3.
Oh.
Barbara's got it.
Okay.
Barbara, take it away.
So 50 years ago, my husband and I bought a place, and it had acreage on it because I had always wanted horses and so forth. And we farmed this acreage, and 10 years after we bought the place, we saved up enough money and we bought a tractor. And oh man, that tractor came in handy because it was our strength. We could move anything with it. Well, years after that, I ended up getting a dog from the pound and brought him home. And one day I was out there mowing the fields, and he wouldn't stop following the tractor. And I never named him yet. He followed it around for about, I'd say, an hour, and then he was exhausted. But I decided to name him Tractor.
Freeze. Hey, Barb.
Yeah.
I want you to go on a date with me, if you would. I got these tickets to this really, really cool new sport. And they've combined dogs with people. And the whole idea here is it's kind of like a tug of war kind of thing. You know, where you're trying to drag the dog around because he's going places he doesn't want to go.
Mm-hmm. I would love to go on a date with you. I love dogs, and it would be fun to see how these dogs drag people around.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, this is kind of like WWE, but...
Freeze! All right, Bill, Blue, on this corner, I don't want no heads, no breaking of the heads, no fighting, no doing anything illegal here. There's the dog in the corner on that side, and you get a chair on that side. You guys are ready to go. Go.
So no gouging in the ear? No gouging in the ear?
Yes, you can gouge in the ear.
Eye poking?
Eye poking. Fight.
Okay.
Whoa, you guys. Whoa. I just seen somebody try to gouge Bill's eye out. Jack, you can't do that. Go ahead, continue.
It's encouraged. Anything goes. Get him, Barb. Get him.
Uh-oh.
Barbara, it's okay. When you get nervous, you bark like a dog.
Great. Now, lady and gentlemen, I want to make sure you understand the charges. Cruelty to your fellow humans and animal impersonation, we take very seriously in this state. How do each of you intend to plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
For my treats. That's what I do.
I plead guilty.
It's my understanding this was a romantic encounter as well. I just have to say that's getting very odd to me.
Well, Jack, I mean, it really wasn't, was it, Jack? I don't think, no.
I mean, in all my years on the bench, to actually make a date out of this sport, I find personally quite disgusting.
I was so gullible. I went along with the whole thing, and then I started howling, and and whining because it hurt too much.
Freeze. I've just come from the planet Luto, and I brought this tractor beam to Earth, and I'm going to test it out on all of you. So who would like to go on a journey to the planet Luto? Well, you don't have any choice. You're my subjects now. So I'm going to take over the planet soon. So get ready to be tractored up to the mothership.
So
I feel the pull.
I object. I got to object to this.
No, there's no objecting. Sorry, you don't have any choice. You can object all you want. The tractor beam is going to do its business. You're going to get pulled up. So get ready. Collect all your belongings.
Freeze.
Let's go. Collect all your belongings.
Freeze. I'm here. I'm the assistant to the tractor beam. I'm the assistant. Before we go, I want to go out here on this Barbara's farm here and collect all these little Tootsie Pops to take with us back to Ludo. So
Ari, I'm glad you're on. It's like having a great job there. Please tell the audience at home how it's going.
Yeah, it's going fantastic. This tractor beam is so awesome because we're going to scoop up with this tractor beam. We're going to scoop up all these little Tootsie Rolls that I see all over the ground around Barbara's farm. We're going to just totally clean it up because I want to take these little Tootsie Roll things that are all over here, all over the ground on Barbara's farm, and take them back with us to Ludo. I'm so excited. Everybody's going to love these little Tootsie things we're finding all over the farm. Bah, bah.
Jack, you're the reporter on site?
Of course.
Did you see the weather?
Yeah.
I think the weather is causing a traffic jam.
It is.
A traffic jam? What do you mean? A traffic jam? Nuclear traffic jam?
Well,
You know better than anybody.
We started pulling you up. So there's people being taken out of their cars. That's causing the traffic jam. So don't worry. Did you pack your bags? You're the only people we're allowing to pack their bags. So get your bags packed. You have half an hour. Exactly from now. The countdown has started.
Half an hour, Jack, to pack all our Tootsie Rolls. And maybe we can find some Mary Jane to put in there too. That'll help us on our journey, I'm sure, Jack.
It's legal now, Bill. Let's do it.
They're going to love this back on Ludo. These are so exciting.
And we've packed many, many cans of Spam for you on the journey back to Ludo.
Ari, it looks like you're being pulled in another direction.
Wait, as long as I get the Spam. Do I have the Spam?
It's in the hold.
Okay, I'm with you. Let's go to Ludo.
All right, hit the button to pull them up.
Okay. Can you still see me? Can you still see me?
Needs to leave.
Can you?
Yeah, it's time to leave.
She's fading.
Wait, put on the tin hat. They can't see me if I have the tin hat on. Put the tin hat on.
Ari has now left the scene. Just
Okay.
Continue. Go ahead.
Oh my God, I feel the pull. It's pulling me. It's pulling me up.
It's safe. It will not hurt. You'll be in your container in a cocoon. You'll be put to sleep on the trip there, and we'll feed you some Spam every now and then. Okay, I have to go to the captain's pit, so I will be driving.
Well, I think you have learned your lesson. So therefore, I'm going to let you off with a warning. Dismiss the charges. Court is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Oh,
We really appreciate that.
yeah. Really, I'll never do it again.
Right. I bow to your judgment.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Barbara, let's get him while he's down. Grab the crowbar.
Yeah.
I'll grab a gun.
I got the four leg crunch here now.
Oh.
Hey, the gun safety doesn't work. The gun safety doesn't
I'm
work.
lifting my leg. Oh no. Are you blinded by the Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well, you know, Barb, I think we're back to watching this dog pulling now. And you know, I think that dog over there, I think that dog's on steroids. I think that's why it's winning. And I'm sorry, but I can't take putting dogs on drugs. I'm leaving. This is too much for me. Have a good time. I'm sorry this didn't work out. See you later.
Oh, Bill. Always my date sleeve. And yeah, well, so this dog of mine, he followed the tractor around and I named him Tractor, and he was a good, faithful dog. He would bark at the tractor when I'd get on it again, but he decided he wasn't going to follow me around for that whole hour mowing the fields anymore. It was too much for him.
All right. Hey, we made it. You made it. Let's talk about this one. Fun.
That's crazy.
So that was an interesting one. Very interesting. A lot of stuff happened. I wanted to say really quick before we discuss this scene. I heard, some of you didn't see, but Abby had shown her notes. And I actually think that's a great idea on Zoom, especially when you're learning in class. There is no rule that says you can't have your note. You know, you guys saw me in the theater always have this around, right?
Yeah.
I've taken notes all the time. There's no law that says you can't write yourself a reminder of what scene 3 was, right? Especially on Zoom, nobody's going to know. So if you need a little reminder of what scene's what, you write yourself a note if you need it. Looks like Jack does the same thing. He's got his little book there. Okay. So,
he's had for 3 years.
If you watched this scene, so for Les, Blue, Paul, Abby, and Nancy in particular, what worked? What did you like? What worked? And what might use a little bit of improvement?
I just had one question, really, Jesse. What is a captain pit? I was trying to just figure out what that was. Victoria brought it up. I'm sure it sounds exciting. It does. Captain pit. Just was curious. I'm kind of into sci-fi and such. Okay, that didn't go well. Let me work that off.
I can't help you.
Try to be funny. Okay.
I thought it was a really good feel, what do you call it, scene or whatever. The only criticism I have, and I hate to criticize everyone because I'm far from good at most of this stuff, but it got a little convoluted at about midway through. I really couldn't keep up with what the heck was going on. It was kind of, I realize everything doesn't have to stay right in the same scene, but people looked like they were scratching themselves and stuff. And I just didn't quite get it, but all as a whole. And then when they came back and all, I thought it was great.
Why do you guys think that it got a little that way? Was there any particular scenes where it kind of started to get a little confusing?
6.
Bill right away announced, I want to have a date with you, Barb. I thought that was neat. And then Jack came in, and I don't think Barb realized she was fighting Bill, but then she realized she was fighting Bill.
You're right.
And then it moved forward. I thought it was, and then let's see, who was next then after that? After Jack, was it Raymond being the judge? I thought that was great. I love being swept into a whole nother scene that I'm trying to picture the judge, desk and the gavel, and then comes Victoria with, I'm from Lulu Planet, and I'm gonna zoom you all up. It didn't matter that there wasn't a reason, or she was just arriving, and I thought Arya did a good job, even though she didn't take us any place different. She felt comfortable stepping in as the assistant to the
That's really good. Let's stop there for a second. This is a great learning moment. So what Ari did is perfectly fine. However, for some of you, if you're not used to it, it's challenging. So what happened there was we had a scene on 5, and then 6. The 6th was a kind of a slightly different angle of approach to that scene. It wasn't exactly like continuation of the scene, but it could have looked like that. So what happens if somebody, for example, you're Raymond and you're judge or police officer, or whatever, you're someone of authority in a totally different place. What if somebody comes along and doesn't take it to a totally different place? Like, what if I come on in the next scene, but I am Raymond's cop sidekick? Now, some of you, especially when you're not used to this game, you're like, oh, that's almost like staying in the same scene. That's hard. It would have been easier to do what Victoria did and jump us to a totally different place, and now we're a different planet, right? Because it's very clear cut. And when you first start this game, and even right now, you should probably do it that way, okay? However, sometimes it's not going to work out that way. So if in my example here, if I'm Victoria and instead of taking it away to a different planet, I'm just Raymond's partner in the force, like I'm another cop, then bless you.
Bless you.
What is it that I could do to ensure that everyone knows it is a different scene and not the same scene? So even though I picked something very related, what could I get anybody? What could I do to make sure people know it's a different scene?
The cop has arrived on the scene at the judge's orders to break up the whatever dog fights. Was it dog fights that were going on? I wasn't quite clear.
I wasn't either. Yeah.
I'm going to enter your property right now because I have a warrant for your arrest.
Oh, okay, so you're Jack. You're saying that I'm very clear that we've moved to something different, right? Okay. Do you guys understand what Jack's saying? If I come on as another cop, Raymond, who is in that scene with you? I forget. Sorry.
Barb, Bill, and
Bill and Jack.
Jack.
Okay. So I don't want to, if I'm coming in, I want to make sure that Barb, Bill, and Jack have the option to change characters and feel like they're somewhere else. If I come in and they feel like they're still in the room and I just entered the room they were already in, then you've got a problem.
Yeah.
Because we don't know, are we in 6 now? Or I mean, we were in scene 4, are we in 5 now? Or are we still in 4 and we just added a character? That's where you run into problem. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to be something similar, you got to make sure that you make it clear that we've changed location or time, because the character, you forced Raymond to be the same. Like in my example, I'm forcing Raymond to continue to be the cop maybe because I'm saying, hey, Raymond, we're both cops now. Okay, well then what's going to change? It's not characters. So what is it? It's time or location. So I would have to say, oh man, it was great to get out of the office and get on the tennis court, isn't it? Okay, then obviously we're not in the same scene. Or Raymond, he mentioned something about time and I say, Raymond, thanks for inviting me to your 19th birthday. And everyone goes, oh, we just went back in time. So I have to do something that makes that if it's similar, you can't be just in the same scene. That's the biggest thing about this game. And it really, I've seen it many times where it starts falling apart really fast because people are like, what are we doing? We just have 2 scenes that kept going for a long time and it feels like one scene. Overall, you guys, it was good.
Yeah, and Arya did say I am the assistant to the captain from the other planet, and we're going into Barb's field to pick up Tootsie Rolls.
Well, we were in a different place, but I should have changed it completely. I was trying to keep in the same vein, and I forgot that I'm actually supposed to completely take it out of that. So thank you for reviewing this, because I forgot that I'm supposed to go ahead and take it completely to a different scene. I was trying to like the yes and, where I'm trying to make sure I'm accepting what she's doing and adding to that, when I was really supposed to take it completely out of this world.
And Ari, I actually liked your character, by the way, quite a bit.
Yeah,
good. It was a very clever character.
Well, I appreciate that. But I mean, in this game, though, I need to remember, though, that I need to, I was trying to yes, and to make sure that I'm buying into what's already there. And I forgot that I'm actually supposed to completely change gears and add to that. So thank you for reviewing that. I really appreciate it.
No
yeah,
problem.
I thought it was neat because Jack kind of came to your rescue, Arya, and said, okay, gee, you're the newscaster from whatever channel reporting on this. Did you, Jack? Was that your idea?
Well, it was a little different than that. Jack jumped right on top of the Tootsie Rolls in the field.
What you were exactly, so I endowed you as a reporter. I hope that was okay.
Yeah.
because you sounded like
yeah, yep. But
I became the person in the studio, and then so we were actually able to take that somewhere. So I actually thought that we got enough different information, to take that and make it something different. Yeah, even though it wasn't as obvious maybe as some of the other ones were.
I did see everyone who came in saying freeze came in very forcefully.
Yes,
and establishing
really good.
instantly what their character was. So
that was
a
great job of freeze. I agree, Paul. Oh, another tip, you guys, for Zoom. I just thought of this. I wish I would have thought of it earlier. Because we're not freezing when we leave. This is the answer to your question, Les. It can be kind of confusing when someone's leaving. So what I think we should do is we should just say exit, like make it official, like hit each other over the head with it, like, and I exited, like literally just say I left. Don't just, or do what Raymond did. Raymond like got up and left the camera.
And literally, right, yeah.
Both Raymond and I did that.
Bill did that too, yeah.
Yeah, Jack did it too. That is a good idea. Otherwise, we actually, you know, someone like myself that runs at the mouth a little too much starts to make up this elaborate thing that the bus is coming and I better leave. Could you give me my scarf? Oh, and you've got,
Just leave. Yeah.
Also, if you could do me a big favor, I'd appreciate it if you could put like a couple of different slashes or something after the first set of people, because for some reason on my end where you wrote the names, they all ran together. I mean, they all have a comma after them, but they all ran together. So if there's a way to add like a couple of slashes or something after the first set, that would be...
Yeah. I'll do one better. I'll repeat it out loud. Sometimes I forget to type them anyway. So I'll just make sure everyone's clear before we start.
Oh, no. Writing it is fabulous because I was able to look at that because once we get going, I don't remember.
I usually, if I do type, I usually write team 1 and put a 1 and put a 2. I just didn't do that very well tonight. Sorry about that.
Well, I'm probably the only one that needed that. So I apologize. So I really appreciate your help. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good work. We all did good work.
Okay, team. Great job tonight, everybody. Just a quick recap. Don't forget, we did the warm-up we did was called Zen Master, in case you're trying to remember what that game is. And we'll try that again at some point. And then we worked on animal attributes. Don't forget, that was our characterization drill. What I would like to see next time, and I know it's tough because we're trying to think of so many things. Next time, we're going to try to do either this one again, or we might try Freeze and Switch Story, which is 3-part scene, which has a similar feel. It's actually in some ways easier than Accordion Freeze. But I really want you guys to try to use some of the exercises we're using in the earlier part of the class in the actual scenes. So for example, if we work on animal attributes, bring that in to the game. So like just something to think about. And I'm not upset at anybody, right? It's no big deal, but it's just a thought. It might help you. Is if we work on animal attributes, then when we do Accordion Freeze, pick an animal character. You know, so that way what you're doing for your learning is it's not so isolated. You're incorporating it. Instead of it just learning knowledge, you're applying the knowledge. And you'll learn it way better that way. Because otherwise it'll be like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. I did it once. I don't know. Maybe it helped me. I don't remember, you know. But if we do, and I'm saying this because I need this too. When if we study like UI we, well then come in using UI we, right? I challenge you to do that. It's actually pretty tough, but then you'll really learn it. Like you'll know it so well. Or maybe one of you should have been the Zen master for one of these scenes, right? Even though that's even farther removed, that was a warm-up game, but even that would be okay. So next time when we do something early, see if you can pull it into the scene at the end of the class, because then you will really reinforce the lesson for yourself. And it'll be fun too. It's a really fun way to do it. So, and we have one more dog to end our night.
This is a 4-month-old Chihuahua that I'm babysitting.
How cute are they? And what's the name?
Pepper.
Pepper? We had a dog named Pepper. And then there's another one in the background wanting to get in the picture too. Photobombing.
All right, you guys, any last comments or questions, or can we wrap it up for tonight?
Yeah, no, good. Thank you very much. It was fun.
Well, I got them all too. They're here someplace.
Thank you for letting me join you again.
Oh, thanks for coming, Ari.
Thanks for having me.
And see you when we have a new president.
We can have fun with that
There's
one
the
too,
prettiest
right?
one. There's Miss Lola. There's Miss Lola.
Hi, Lola.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Thank
you.
Bye.